What's going on, YouTube? This is Jamil here, and I'm talking Maxx today. Mega Capital G is also made a couple of days ago. I know I'm kind of late on it. I plan to make this video literally the day after the conclusion of the American WCQ, after the winner clearly stated that Maxx was the best card in the game, and in a sense, he is right. He is correct. Maxx is indeed the best card in the game, and it has been since 2016. And the reasons why. And I know it's only as good as the format allows it to be, but ever since 2015, the format has not gotten slower. It has gotten faster. The faster the format, the more destructive Maxx becomes. Now, why did I make this video? Well, a lot of people are on the fence about this card, but one thing that we can all agree on is that Maxx should either be at 3 or it should be at 0, because it being at 2 and at 1 are the absolute terrible, because you have a much bigger chance of one person drawing it and the other one not, and that's just not cool. Well, where do I stand? Well, very quickly, I stand on the side of Maxx not even being illegal at all. That is the most unpopular opinion today, and it's always been that way. But I do, in fact, believe that it should be banned. It shouldn't even be at 3 for this reason. Why? What's wrong with it being at 3, right? I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. If both players have the Maxx, what should be the problem? Well, here's the problem. When did Maxx come out? Maxx got released back in Storm of Ragnarok. I believe that was the same set as Karakuri's. Now, Maxx has been okay, in the game up until about 2016. And why is that? Why the sudden change? Why is Maxx all of a sudden, way too broken and way too, game changing and game deciding? Well, let's think of it. Back in Karakuri's ages, if I went first and my opponent was playing Karakuri and they dropped Maxx on me, back then we had 3 Solemn Warning and a Solemn Judgment. Back then, I can sit here and sit on even 1 Solemn card, and I could be fine. I could be good. I could Solemn the Karakuri, at least one of them, and know that I'm going to live to see another turn. Nowadays, even 1 to 2 Solemn cards doesn't stop a deck like Zodiacs, We have a lot more recovery plays now. We have, Zodiacs have these, we got things like Shuffle Reborn, and Soul Charge, and Tensu to get you an extra normal summon, and Barrage, and Mind Control, and Enemy Controller, things to just keep our things going. And that's the problem. The difference between then and now is that even under 2 back row and a monster on board, we can still push through it and still put over 10k damage on board. Now, with me just saying that, you would think that I would be all for Maxx coming back to 3, but here's the problem. Let's have the most common example of all time when Maxx was at 3, and let's say both of us do have it. Let's say my opponent goes first, and he tries to make his play, and I Maxx him. He is now left with a pathetic board, and he can set 2 back row, and you would think that's okay, but, we're in 2016 and 2017 where that shit doesn't matter. And he can even have the Maxx, but why do I care? Why do I care that he has Maxx? I'm going second. I get to attack. I can still brush past his board, blow past his 2 back row, kill his monster, and still do over 10,000 damage. And that's the unbalance I'm looking at here. If you're going first, you're in a very vulnerable and unfavorable position. If you're going second, you're in an unwinnable situation. Why? How many times have we stared down boards of Trident and Masterpiece, Trident and Tornado Dragon, ABC, Infinity, or, Siegfried, Hope Harbinger, and Crystal Wing. How many times have we stared down boards like these and just might be able to break them, but it would take every last card in our hand to do so, and then we get a Maxx dropped on us. It's the absolute worst. At this point, it doesn't even matter if you break your opponent's board. Your opponent has a brand new hand to work with. Now, again, every deck, it seems to me that people have a very biased opinion when it comes to Maxx versus spam-heavy decks. People believe it should stay in the game because it puts these quote-unquote spam-heavy decks in check. It checks them or makes them not go too crazy and all this mess, but I'm looking at it from an unbiased standpoint. People make it seem like these spam-heavy decks don't deserve an equal shot of winning. And granted, I know, things like Zodiac, I know they're meta, and I don't like them personally myself. I hate Fluffles, but bottom line is every deck deserves to win. Every single deck out there, doesn't matter what deck it is, it deserves to win as much as the next deck. And that's just me being, saying this from an unbiased standpoint. Now, back in 2016, we got the card known as Dimensional Barrier, which was the ultimate counterbalance to Maxx. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say I go first, and I try to go and set up my board, and I get Maxx. I'm not going to give my opponent free cards, but I can set Dimensional Barrier, and now my opponent can get stuff returned. That's a trade-off. It's an even trade-off to where my opponent can't just completely steamroll me, turn 2. But now, since Dimensional Barrier is falling out of favor because of decks like True Draco, and it's gonna fall out even harder when Links come out because Dimensional Barrier does not affect Links. Since it does not affect Links, we are now going to be back to where we started from, to where if you go first, you're in the most unwinnable position. Because, again, even if it's a 3, you're going first. The person going first is likely going to lose because they cannot attack. The person going second can attack. In breakthrough boards, they get the extra draw, and they get all the recovery plays. Like maybe they're TG strikers if you're playing Star Grails and like Cockadoodle Dews. They get all that. They get all the things, requirements met, for you not controlling monsters, them controlling monsters. Things are just much better for you if you're going second. And people would make the argument, well, you should have went first. Maxx is, just for that, for us not going first. But again, I'm saying this from an unbiased standpoint. We also got to think about the person going first. Yeah, I know it's not fun staring down super stun boards, but when is the last time we had super stun boards? The last time we had super stun boards was late 2016 when we had, things like Bahamut Shark and Toad and Darklaw, Crystal Wing, Siegfried, Hope Harbinger, ABC, Infinity with a set anti-spell fragrance. Those boards were pretty hard to crack. I'm not gonna lie. And, we don't have those anymore because, one, they get stopped mid-combo. 2, we have newer cards that can disrupt them. 3, we've had recent ban lists. We don't have things like Emptiness anymore. We don't have Kieran. We don't have these things that can just absolutely, completely shut us down and completely just, it's not a true unbreakable board. Every board can be broken now. We have Ash Blossoms, we have Ghost Ogres, we have Kaijus. Hell, for the longest time we were all playing Kaiju engines in our decks, and we were easily breaking boards without the Maxx. So I don't see what the problem is. We just can't look past Maxx because it is by far the best choice, the best card to play, because it is a game winner. It is that powerful. And that's just sad that it's gotten to this point where whoever drops the Maxx C wins, especially now when it's at 1. It's you're in the worst position when you're going first, and that's just the fact of the matter. Um, you're in the most unfavorable position if you're going first, because now you can't establish a board and you're at the complete mercy of your opponent. And you're in an unwinnable position if you're going second, because your opponent, maxi backed by a strong board, is by all intents and purposes unwinnable. You can't push an OTK. And, yes, OTKs can happen. Yes, Fluffles are still there. That's the best deck known for OTKing opponents, but let's face it, when you have decks are becoming more resilient. Things like Trident and Masterpiece and things like that, backed by 2 back row and hand traps in hand with a Maxi, there's no way you can't win. And it's sad that just having Maxi in hand just says you win. Essentially, you just give your opponent literally advantage for free for nothing. And so, let me know what you guys think about this. Well, let me know what you think about Maxi. Do you believe it should be a 3? I believe it should be a 0, because unless D-Barrier gets the errata to include links, the Maxi will go unchecked, and players will continue to single-handedly lose games off of it, because until Konami stops making archetypes and making decks that are really, really crucial and more glass cannony, more crucial to get your combos going, and until they can stop making decks that can OTK like it's easy to breathe, just as easy as breathing air, then Maxi doesn't belong in the game, because we'll create an imbalance, especially if you're going first, because remember, everyone deserves to win. Every deck deserves to win. And so that'll be all for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.